everyone, welcome to my channel Bow and Arrow Tarot. Today we're going to get right into the outlook for March 8th to the 15th for the sign of Sagittarius. I want to give a big shout out to my girlfriends Holly and my good friend Mary, both really beautiful Sagittarius women that I know, and I just want to say hey to y'all. All right, guys, so let's get right into it. One quick announcement before we do. I'm giving away the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit Deck and Guidebook this month to a lucky winner. This is going to be the full set, right, that you get. And there is an unboxing. I'm going to try to get that linked into the videos. It's a beautiful animal oracle set, which I do use in my weekly reading. You're going to see it in just a minute when I pull out your cards. And all you have to do to win that is to be subscribed to my channel and to leave me a comment in any of the videos letting me know that you are interested in winning this deck. All right, guys, I'm going to get right into it, Sagittarius. I am a Sagittarius myself. I love being a Sagittarius. I have other elements in my chart, of course, but hey, this is always a fun reading for me because it is for my really close collective of brothers and sisters in my sun sign zodiac. I do actually have 4 planets in Sagittarius, but it's my sun sign zodiac. All right, guys, stay optimistic about your love life, Sagittarius. Free yourself. This is a card that comes up a lot for you. And we have codependency. Addictions are affecting your romantic life. All right, and codependency and addictions are very similar. But when we say addictions are affecting your life, they could be any kind of addiction, right? We can even be meaning an addiction to a back and forth toxic situation, right? It can mean you may have one addiction and your person may have another addiction and you guys may be feeding that. We're going to see more about that as we get into your spread. All right, guys, let's go ahead and pull out your animal spirits. Now, this is the same deck that I'm giving away. And I'm giving this deck away because it is first of all, it is a beautiful deck. Kim Krantz is an excellent creator when it comes to tarot, written and illustrated by him or her, I believe. And it's just beautiful. And let's get right into it. It's also a deck that you can use for many, many years as a novice, and turn it upside down, as a novice or even as a experienced tarot reader. I've been working with tarot for over 25 years, and I find this to be definitely one of those decks that I continue to gain insights and realizations on every time I use it. So it's very, very nice. All right, guys, let's get right into Sagittarius, the bee. And I love seeing the bee come out for you because the bee is a regular player on my readings. And for a long time, the bee has been coming out for many, many readings in this first position. The other thing about this deck is at the top of each card, you're going to see an alchemical symbol. So it's going to be the alchemical symbol for whatever element this animal spirit is associated with. And most animal spirit decks neglect to do that. Of course, this is the alchemical symbol for air, and bee is air energy. We have the wolf, which is, of course, earth energy. And we have the golden egg. Now, here at the top of the card, you have a circle, and that circle is the alchemical symbol for ether. Let's get right into the bee. All right, guys. The bee is, like I said, it is an air elemental, obviously, and the bee is associated with a high degree of creativeness and industriousness, right? The bee is associated with someone or an energy of someone, or an energy, I mean to say, coming into your life, right, of wanting to work with others, right? A desire to want to work with others, a desire to bring flair and creativity to a project. The bee is also the animal spirit for democracy and the Democrat in a lot of ways. Because, of course, in the wild, bees live in colonies. And so they understand the nature of every person having sort of their role and every role being valuable. So this can be, a spirit animal that someone you know is either resonating with, and generally somebody who resonates with the bee is going to be a really good friend. They're going to be the type of friend that always has your back, that's always willing to step up and help you. It can also be, as I said earlier, an energy that's coming into your life, right? So the spirit of the bee coming into your life can bring a feeling or a desire to work with others, to cooperate, to be more creative, to be more engaged. It's really, really nice spirit animal. Now, the wolf is an earth animal spirit, and we are talking about here very strong feminine energy. Now, this is feminine leadership energy as well. Interesting, the bee is associated with the Democrat, right, or democracy. The wolf is associated with activism, right? So this spirit animal is all about, the protection and preservation of the pack, right? And so the pack is small, right? And in general, this is why it is also associated with activism, humanitarianism, someone who is working against the status quo to make sure that the marginalized have a voice, that the vulnerable have a voice, so in this way, protecting the small pack against the great big wide world out there. The wolf is definitely a strong leader. Oftentimes will set the principles of the pack. Sometimes the wolf can become a little bit over idealized, right? Certainly some activists, you see can become over idealized or become I want to say a little too egocentric and a little too overbearing in a sense of, like a zealot, right? Insisting that you follow, a certain path, right? Or insisting that you follow their way, right? And so in this way, this can sometimes also be kind of, I don't know, a spirit of like a very overprotective and a domineering sort of feminine energy. But that is only every now and again for the most part. And that's only when this energy, is out of balance, right? So some of these animal spirits, when they're out of balance, will have a different sort of energy that they bring, a more extreme energy. But the wolf is a beautiful, beautiful, strong card for somebody who's working in the community. You may be working with children, you may be working with the elderly, you may be working with poverty and those sorts of issues. Very strong. Now, the golden egg, as I said before, is associated with the alchemical symbol for ether or spirit. And here in this deck, the golden egg is representative of the heart chakra, which is the fourth chakra. And it is a golden egg because, what opens our hearts the quickest, right? And what really, and in the, opening up the heart is always a positive step. But what we require to do this and what can get the job done is warmth and understanding. And of course, here we see a golden egg in the color gold, really giving a feeling of like, empathy, warmth, nurturing, understanding, sensitivity, a feeling of being safe and warm, right? This is what we associate with this golden color, this golden egg. Also, just the idea, the egg has always for a very long time in many cultures and many belief systems, the egg has been symbolic of new life, or holding something very, very precious within it, right? The egg being sort of obviously the eggshell that we see, but within the egg, in a lot of cultures, the egg will represent this, the preciousness of something, the spark of something, the essence of something. And of course, here we're talking about the essence of an open heart chakra, and we want it to be warm and nurturing and safe, right? So let's get right into it, Sagittarius. We are going to pull out your spread for March 8th to the 15th. This is a general outlook. I'm going to be working on your love outlooks for this week next. And I'm going to pull out 3 forecasts for this coming week. This is basically the format for my weeklies. If you're new to my channel and you enjoy it, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. So I pull out 3 forecasts, 3 card forecasts, and these are intended to be separate experiences for separate Sagittarius, right? So you're not going to resonate with all of them per se. And if you do resonate with a reading, it will probably be just the one reading, since they are different outlooks. Sometimes you can resonate with portions of different readings. Take it as it applies to your life. And please, if it doesn't, apply to you, if it doesn't resonate with you, then this reading just simply is not for you. All right, Sagittarius? Straight out, we have Judgment, we have Strength, and we have the Ten of Wands. Wow. Well, Judgment's been coming out a lot in the readings lately. All right, some of you are coming into the week, and this is what you come into the week. This is what you're met with, or what you resonate with as a result of the events of the week, and this is how you come out. Judgment. Some of you are coming into the week resonating with the sense of judgment, and the Judgment card is really all about forgiveness, really. It's about understanding. Judgment, the essence of this card is generally when we have certain experiences in our lives, right? Certain events that come into our lives that cause us to be able to see a situation from a broader point of view. We begin to understand different viewpoints and different perspectives of the same sort of event. This can be an event that happened in the past. This could be an event or a judgment that you have of a particular idea, and now your experience is changing that, right? It's the release of hypercriticism. It's the release of being hypercritical about yourself and harboring guilt as a response to that. It's just generally, this understanding, an example could be oftentimes when you are younger, like you're a young person, right? You might be in your early 20s, and we all have, in our early 20s, I would say a lot of us, we are much more sort of, binary, black and white. Things can only be black and white. We have a certain outlook on life because we haven't had those experiences yet. An example could be that you may have had a friend who was in a relationship and then fell in love with somebody else. And at one point in your life, you may have really looked extremely harshly on that. You may say, well, that's not allowed. And, they effed up and they're a jerk and all of this. Until it happens to you, right? Until you have a life experience where you are in exactly that same situation, and suddenly you begin to understand what they were going through. And suddenly it isn't just black and white. There are feelings involved, and there's all kinds of other things involved, and you are only human. This is all what we talk about with judgment. And so, Sagittarius, you're coming into the week resonating with this. And oftentimes what happens with this feeling, your empathy increases, your compassion increases, and sometimes you may even want to go back and reconcile with certain people, right? You may want to reconcile a relationship or a connection with somebody that fell apart previously because of a high level of criticism, right, and judgmentality. In any case, you're resonating with this coming into the week. To a certain degree, free yourself is definitely a message that coincides with judgment. And the events that come into you this week, interestingly enough, you come in with this judgment, this feeling of really broadening your perspective. And then this week, it's almost like you're able to really take strength from that, and you're able to really deal with some emotions. It seems to me that certain events may be happening this week, or you may be having certain meetings with people. You may come across certain people. You may have certain experiences this week that really allow you to maintain your strength. Right? These same experiences before, you may have felt much more volatile and emotional, but because of this judgment coming in and this understanding coming in, you're a lot stronger. Right? You're not succumbing to your passions and your emotions anymore, right? Because you are beginning to have that strength to understand that our passions and our emotions shouldn't rule us. Our decisions are made by a combination of factors. You may also be putting more boundaries in place, because 8, Major Arcana 8, and 8 in general is the number for strength and boundaries, right? So you may be, whatever the case is, I'm going to say that, it's quite nice that you have kind of come to this energy, or you're coming into the week with this energy, because it's really going to help you stay sort of strong this week during certain events. By the end of the week, you actually you push through and resonate right up to laying down a lot of burdens, to laying down a lot of baggage that you've held onto. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's almost like, You've had certain experiences, and you've really broadened your perspective. And so what happens is this week, the events that come in, they may be the similar events that you have experienced before, or type of experiences that you have before. And I'm talking about meeting people, talking to people, having certain kinds of interactions, etc. Maybe finding out information that wasn't so pleasant to find out, whatever the case may be. But it's almost as if, like, because you handle it so well this week, Sagittarius, and with so much strength as a result of the learning that you've made here, you suddenly realize by the end of the week there's certain behavior patterns and ideas that you've held on, and just outlooks that you've held on to that have really been like a crutch. A lot of it may be baggage. An example could just be, a knee-jerk reaction that you have to something. Maybe in the past you got very, very sort of jealous, right? Or maybe there's a certain sort of reaction that you had in a certain scenario before, based on your past experience. It was baggage that you were carrying around with you. But this week, it's like you free yourself from all of that. It's a real feeling of freeing yourself, Sagittarius, from the type of baggage you've held on to before, that really hasn't served you, or that hasn't helped you to progress. Here's an example. Say you were raised, you grew up in a family that there was a lot of infidelity, right? And as a child, through a child's eyes, you may have held on to a lot of sort of insecurities about that. You may have had a lot of self-esteem issues about that, or you may have just had certain ideas about what relationships should be and shouldn't be as a result of that experience, right? Or you may have said to yourself, well, I'm never going to get married because the only experience I ever had was my parents were married and there was always cheating and yada yada, right? And so this trauma that you have and this baggage that you've accumulated, this is what I mean by 10 of Wands, right? Carrying that around you and making decisions based on that, and making decisions that don't really allow you to grow. Now you refuse to interact with certain people based on that sort of outlook that you've developed. But then what happens with Judgment is that you have a certain few experiences that have come into your life where perhaps maybe you were married and you began to see now what married life is like, or an unhappy married life is like. And you also took a lover, or whatever the case may be, but what your experience was, and what your experience had, the experience you had, was really opened up your understanding. Then this week you come into an event that in the past you may have reacted very differently to. You may have reacted to that event as you did before, carrying that baggage. But now that you have the strength, you absolutely lay it down. And I think by the end of the week, a lot of you Sagittarius are going to be very free. This is absolutely about you freeing yourself. Very, very strong reading for a Sagittarius who is transcending, who is becoming a better and better version of themselves. But more than anything, this is like a real rapid healing that it goes on this week. This may have taken some time to achieve this feeling here, but these next steps here come very, very quickly, and you're able to lay a lot down. 7 of Pentacles, 9 of Cups, and the 6 of Cups. Well, 7 of Pentacles. Wow. All right, some of you Sagittarius are coming into the week with the 7 of Pentacles, and that can sometimes be the card for failure or feeling like a failure. Oftentimes, 7 of Pentacles is just like a feeling that you have that where you're at right now in your life is just not bringing you what you desired. 7 is the number for strengths. Not strengths. It's the number for dreams and aspirations, right? And oftentimes, and so here with the 7 of Pentacles, oftentimes we work towards a particular dream or objective. And then one day we look and we say, you know what? I'm either not achieving that goal that I set out for with the work that I'm doing now. I'm not getting to where I want to be. Or it can be that sometimes you do reach the destination, but the rewards and the satisfaction that comes in is not what you expected. And so this is a real feeling of reevaluating what it is you're wanting to do with your life, and certainly in terms of the physical work that you do. We're talking about career, business, labor, all of that here. Now you come into the week with the Nine of Cups, and this is, this is a real feeling of being blessed. I'm going to say this is a real feeling of being blessed with your relationships and your friendships. And it's interesting that this will come in as a, even though you've come into the week really thinking about the path that you've taken. It could be that for some of you, you may have been working in an area where you've been working with close friends, right? Or whatever work or career or business you've been dealing with, that you've been on a path to, out of it you may have developed a lot of happy relationships, right? A lot of blessed relationships, though you're still not happy here with the work. And so this comes in for you, and I think to a certain degree you're learning, not learning, but you're certainly you're distinguishing the fact that, yes, some good relationships may have come out of this work, but yet you are still wanting to reevaluate your path. By the end of the week, you resonate with Six of Cups. And Six of Cups is really pleasant interactions with people. It's pleasant relationships. It is a soulmate card, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic soulmate connection. Six is the number for harmony. And so this is why Six of Cups is one of those cards that is associated with a soulmate connection, because here we have a connection that is very harmonious, that oftentimes has lasted a very long time, that started when you were children or started when your souls were very young. And that's another symbol of a soulmate connection. But this can also be a friendship as well. In any case, it is a relationship or a connection with someone where you truly enjoy each other's company. There's no toxicity here. This is not what people call a karmic connection. This is a very happy and harmonious connection. And it feels to me like some of you may indeed be meeting with very, very close friends, or someone, if this is a romantic connection, that, as well. But I think in this case, it's more or less meeting with someone that you truly, truly trust, that you really have a lot of respect and love and a really strong sense of affection for. And this meeting with them, conversation, or what have you, getting together may help you to really sort of, I'm going to say they may help you, or this connection talk with them may help you to sort of put some of this in perspective, and may help you to reevaluate what your next step is going to be, right? And so this is very much a case of Sagittarians relying on their blessed relationships, their close relationships, and one very, very special relationship by the end of the week to help them deal with this feeling of wanting to perhaps maybe even start a whole new life in career or business. Five of Wands, Page of Swords, and this is the last spread, Justice. So Sagittarius, some of you are coming into the week with a Five of Wands energy. And I'm going to say this is a real feeling of, arguing, bickering. You know what I mean? It's a feeling of competition coming in. Absolutely. You know what I mean? Everybody's fighting for the top spot. So this is a real sort of, it's a power struggle, right? It's a real power struggle. It can generally be within a group of people. Sometimes it can be a one-on-one power struggle as well. But whatever the case is, the nature of the power struggle is very, very competitive, right? And you're kind of coming into the week thinking about this competition that you're embroiled in. It could be just, it doesn't have to be too brutal, but generally Five of Wands is a tough competition, a tough power struggle. Coming into the week, though, you really resonate with a Page of Swords, and your experience and events that happen with you this week really help you to sort of remain clear. You know what I mean? It's like you're saying to yourself, look, I'm not going to let this power struggle or this high degree of competition I'm being drawn into, right? Or I'm in right now to sort of get me off my square. I'm not going to let negative thinking get me off my square. Sometimes even being in a power struggle like this can make you feel quite negative, because you're just arguing and fighting anyway, and that's just a negative energy. which, impacts, right? But the Page of Swords is all about fighting against negative self-doubt, fighting against other people who will seek to sow seeds of doubt, right? To sow seeds of negativity, or to make you feel like your ideas are rubbish or you can't get them done. And the Page of Swords is saying, no, I can. I trust myself. I trust my plans. I trust my ideas, and I'm going to go for it. And clarity, certainly, of the mind. Clarity of the mind is what we're talking about, and strength of the mind. By the end of the week, you round out with justice. And this is very interesting because when you have the wolf here, this is the activist card, right? And I'm going to say to you, this is very interesting. It feels almost to me like this is a very specific reading for Sagittarius out there that is maybe involved in a legal action that has something to do with activism. Now, you may have fought a bill. You may have fought a legal action of some kind. You may have sort of... maybe you got a petition together, or whatever the case is. There was a lot of power struggle, a lot of people telling you you can't do it, trying to get you out of the limelight, competing. And sometimes competition can just simply be competition for attention, right? An example could be that if you're working on a humanitarian or an activist issue, right? An issue that some people are opposed. Apparently, we have people who are opposed to humanitarian efforts in this country, right? In all countries, all over the world, right? So you may be working towards something that is really noble and ideal, but you're having all this struggle here with somebody. They may not like the fact that you're getting airtime or television time or newspaper time or whatever, right? But you're standing strong. Page of Swords stands strong, stands ideal, stands true, right? And understands that as long as they are clear-headed and they know their objective, they're going to achieve it. And then this week, you win your case, because justice generally indicates something coming in that is going to rebalance an unbalanced situation. And what else is an unbalanced situation but an injustice, right? When we talk about an injustice that is being done to people, perhaps we are talking about a situation where certain energies are out of balance. They are either paying too much, they are being, hurting too much, whatever. There is an imbalance, and that is the injustice, right? Being treated differently, right? That is an imbalance. But justice, the card justice, which is associated with Libra, by the way, oftentimes can also indicate a court judgment, an actual official meeting, an official document, a rendering, a mediation process, meeting with lawyers, something official, right, that comes in for you and that rebalances your situation. Doesn't always have to be an official event, but sometimes it can be. Here we have a really nice trifecta in a way with these three cards, but then with the wolf energy pulling it together. Stay strong, stay optimistic. The bee is also very strong, optimistic energy here, right? Stay optimistic, because some of you are going to win your case. Some of you are going to win your whatever it is, your veto, your ban, or whatever it is. And it's going to be about something that you feel very strongly about here with this Page of Swords, something that maybe everybody told you you couldn't do. You're going to achieve it. And I think for whoever this reading is for, it's definitely going to be for something that is in the spirit of the wolf. Something that works for a pack, and pack symbolizing a marginalized group, a vulnerable group, the poor, children, animals, whatever the case may be, or, whatever it is, right? Very strong, very nice reading. Really, really positive here. All right, Sagittarius, this last spread really gave me a good feeling, because I know it may only resonate with one person out there because it's such a specific reading. Sorry about that background noise. But I feel warm. I can physically feel warm from this outlook, because this is someone who's worked very hard you know, for someone else, you know, to help someone else, and you are absolutely going to win. All right, guys, March 8th to the 15th for my lovely Sagittarius. Please do not forget to let me know if you're interested in the Animal Spirit Deck and Guidebook. I'm going to try to go ahead and put that link to the unboxing of that video in my description. And all you have to do to win that, or to be in the running to win that, of course, is to be subscribed to my channel and to leave me a comment in any of the videos that you have watched or that you support. Okay, all right, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. It all helps me grow my channel. Go ahead and share it on your social media. If you want to get a private reading into your particular situation, you can go follow that link at the top of your screen. Do 30-minute private live readings, and also 10-minute recorded tarot answers. But for right now, Sagittarius, my brothers and sisters, you have a wonderful week. I'll see you next week for your general outlook. Bye-bye, guys.